morning, everyone. Welcome from Australia. This is the Merry Monday Mail Call Show. It's Sunday where you are, but it's Monday here. So we thought we'd celebrate by showing off some books and having a chat with the community. So welcome to the show if this is your first time. If it's not your first time, hello. Good to see you all again. It is beautifully cold here. I say beautifully, the sun is out, but it is freezing. I wish I was in the Northern Hemisphere as we speak. But alas, we are here in cold, old Melbourne. But we're here with some comic books to keep us warm. So let's see who's in the chat. We have Devil Flyer. I have many of these great classics in mint condition. Some of the best books in my collection. Good reads all. Yes, we will be going through these. Very interesting set of books. I think hopefully I'll reveal some stuff that a lot of people don't know. But welcome, Devil Flyer. Welcome to the show. Great to have you with us. Dope. My White Claw buddy is here. Hello, how are you? It's great to see you. No White Claws for me today. I don't know if they're actually available in Australia, but who knows? I will have to dig through. Derek Hammondtree is here. Hello, Derek. Great to see you. The Comic Collector Coach. Hello. Gary from Tales from My Spinner Rack. I have been talking to Gary. We're looking to do another show at some point together. So stay tuned for that. Hello, Gary. Great to see you. Welcome from the West Coast. And that's it. That's it. So for now, I'm sure there'll be more. There always is. Knocking on this door, looking for comics and collectibles. So today we are going to be covering off Marvel's classic comics series, which ran, I think for, keep myself honest, 46 issues, I think. 46 issues in total. I do have quite the amount of them here to go through with you and give you a sense of what these were about, because they're sort of much maligned and not well known. So I thought it would be a good one to do. I was going to do a proper video on this, but I don't have the full collection. So I'll save that for another day. But this is your starter for 10, your appetizer, if you like, for Marvel's classic comics, which ran from 1971. Not from 1971, from 1976 through to December 1978. And there were 36 issues. There were not 46. I'm sort of like growing the book. So 36 issues in total, running from 1976 to 1978. Short-lived. So it's a reasonably small run if you're looking to get it. And it's very affordable. So I got all of these from friend of the channel, West Coast Dave Engers, as part of a big lot that we worked out a deal on. I'm going to be covering off a lot of those in the future as well. So you'll get to see a lot more stuff that Dave has very kindly sent my way at a very, very good price. So if you haven't checked out West Coast Dave Engers already, what's wrong with you? Great channel. Both from an original art interview standpoint, but also if you want to find some great books. Speaking of our friends of the channel, I did want to share this with you. There is going to be a bit of a giveaway today. So for those of you who don't know, we have launched channel memberships here on Still Only 35 Cents. For just $2.99 a month, you can join the price variance. All the proceeds go to the Hero Initiative. I reached out to them this week to try and organize getting across the current donations that have been made to them. For that, you get early access to creative videos that we do. We get the Mega Members Mail Call Show, where I show off bigger books that we don't normally show on this stream. And then Back to the Drawing Board, which is our monthly giveaway. And as part of that, two of our wonderful members, who you can see here, shout out to Mon Comics, who recently joined this week. So welcome, sir. Two of our members won the sketch giveaway last month, or about a couple of weeks back. Rob, Fat Stacks of Comics, and Comics with Izzyverse, and very kindly re-gifted them back. So we will be running a draw for those members that didn't make it today at some point during the show. But before we do that, let's dig into some books, and I'll give you a bit of history on these Marvel Classic comics. So as I say, they ran from 1976. Oh, that's the wrong view. They ran from 1976, and I've got the camera on the wrong one. Let me just change the camera. Hey, wouldn't be Dave's stream if he didn't know what he was doing. Let's get rid of that camera and let's add another one, shall we? How does this work? Now I've turned everything off. 1 second. The gremlins have attacked today. Extra camera. That's the camera we want. Bring to the stage, and there you have it. There you go. Nice bit of technical glitch there for you all. Let me bring the comments back up. Coroban Hideout's here as well. Welcome and hello from us all here in the chat. As I say, this ran from 1976 through to 1978. What they were, the first 12 issues, interestingly, are not really, other than new covers, it's reprints from another series that preceded the Marvel Classics comics, which was Pendulum Comics. Essentially did a series, I think it was a series of books, and they ran from 1971. Pendulum now Age Classics, and they were running these black and white. So these were colored by the Marvel team, but they also featured new covers. Now, these in particular, issues 1 through to 12, essentially featured these reprints, recolored, from the Pendulum Press. Now, one of the things that both of these titles were trying to do was really pick up on the success of Classics Illustrated, which started back in 1941, finishing its run in 1971, which is when Pendulum Now Classics started. But Classics Illustrated is one of those sort of perennial books that you'll find out there. And this was Marvel's attempt to essentially kick that off and keep the tradition going of publishing classic novels in comic form. So as you can see here, these were very different to Marvel in terms of how they're presented in the interiors. So these square speech bubbles, type, which is probably formally set rather than properly lettered. So it sort of stuck out as not really being too Marvel at the time. Featured some fantastic art, but again, it wasn't actually anything that was created by the Marvel team. Just pure reprints, these first 12. And so I've got issues 10, 11, and 12. 10 is Red Badger of Courage, adapted from the classic novel by Stephen Crane. Got Mysterious Island, adapted from the classic novel by Jules Verne. And then The Three Musketeers from the classic novel by Alexander Dumas. What I like about these is just the way that you have the book on each of the covers as a trade dress, and these beautiful logos that they've created, and this stamp, Marvel Classics Comics. All of the books were 52 pages with no ads at all. And as I say, these probably not the ones that I'm going to be super keen to hunt out the first 12, but I do have at least 10, 11, and 12. I think from memory you had Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, The Time Machine, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Black Beauty, Gulliver's Travels, Tom Sawyer, Moby Dick, and Dracula that are missing from this set, but they were not created by the Marvel team. The ones that were issue 13 onwards, so you can see this here. So this is Last of the Mohicans, adapted from the classic novel by James Fenimore Cooper. And so you have this new cover, obviously, But on the interior, you start to see, and you can see the change between our actual credits now in terms of Archie Goodwin as the editor-in-chief, John Warner as Doug Mensch on script, Ralph Macchio production. So the usual suspects from the bullpen involved in this. And you can really start to see straight away the difference between the two. Very much traditional Marvel word balloons and structure. So it really does feel like a Marvel comic book. And as you can see here, you get the full story through to the edge. And the art on these is pretty phenomenal stuff. There's a beautiful piece celebrating James Fenimore Cooper there. And then on the back, you get these teaser ads for essentially the new books. And there's the War of the Worlds. I don't have that one, sadly. That one is highly sought after, a really great issue. Marvel's adaptation of War of the Worlds. You've got Ivanhoe and Treasure Island here, 15 and 16. So you can see the change between the two, and we'll just maybe pick out one so you can get a sense. As you can see here, you'd have the picture of Alexander Dumas in the case of the Three Musketeers here. You still get your ads on the back. There's the Dracula issue that we talked about. And then a little bit of detail about the author at the back here. But very different when Marvel took over in terms of the credits page, about the author on the front, and then obviously the pin-up at the back. We have, I don't have War of the Worlds, which is issue 14, but I do have issue 15, which is Treasure Island. Again, the 52 pages. Slightly, again, this one's funny. It does sort of have this scroll at the front. Beautiful splash page, though, from that. And the art is by Dino Castrillo here. Not sure if he's done, I think he did the art on this one as well, yeah. But he was a mainstay on this series. So great to see. And as you can see, they're just great little books retelling the tales from the classic novels. But just love it. Like, really, really good stuff. If you're looking for something different, not your standard superhero fare, this was quite the good book. And square bound as well. Beautiful illustration of Robert Louis Stevenson there. Look at that. Beautiful splash page. So, yeah, I mean, as I say, they're a very different book in terms of superheroes or Marvel. But I do like them in terms of just the classic nature of them. We do have a couple of other guests. Canadian Survivalist has also joined us. Welcome. Good to see you. So what else do we have? We have Ivanhoe. Beautiful cover there. This one, the art on the interior by Jess Joldelamon. I'm probably crucifying that, but beautiful art from Ivanhoe, almost reminiscent of Art Adams if you look at that from a beautiful linking. Doug Mensch again on script. But yeah, just look at that. Like, there's some really undervalued, underrated art in these books, and just wonderful storytelling, as you can see here. Just great. So yeah, I will be picking these up whenever I see them. Not too many in the run, as you can see here. But yeah, these are just fabulous little sort of snapshots of history. And there you go, Sir Walter Scott, obviously Ivanhoe, adapted from his novel. We got a copy of The Count of Monte Cristo. I think this is a John Buscema cover. Yep, John Buscema cover, I think. The writer on this one was Chris Claremont, of all people, with Dino Castrillo on art again. Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Bit of a bio there as well. And as you can see, the art by Dino, I'm a big fan of his stuff. It's very, very well rendered and very realistic. But as you can see here, you get some great panels like that, or pages that just really stand out. So just, as I say, unusual, nice to be able to pick something like this up, and something different to read. And I do love the way that they have these little pin-ups at the back, that are very stylistic, almost sort of pop art in style. Not sure who the artists are on those. Sadly, I don't have issue 18, which is the Odyssey. Look at the cover on that thing, though. It's absolutely crazy. And then, obviously, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and Robinson Crusoe. Neither one of those two I do have in this collection. So I'm on the hunt for Odyssey, Frankenstein, and Robinson Crusoe. As I say, I'll be picking out issues 13 through to the last issue 36, which ones that I'm missing, because those are the ones that were created by the Marvel team. And as you can see here, this one is a special one for me. Oh, and there we have Bub is here too. Monte Cristo is a great sandwich. It is a great sandwich, although I'm not sure this has any seasoning on it. But yes, it is. It's a great sandwich. It's great to see you, my friend. And Brandon from Mon Comics. Evening, David, and hello to you. And Tales from my spinning rack. And like Classic Illustrated helped with book reports. Yes, absolutely. I would imagine so. Anyone in the chat who was reading these back in the day, let me know. And if, to Gary's point, if it actually helped you with your book reports, because you could actually cheat and get a sense of the story without actually bothering to read the full story. But Master of the World is based on the classic novel by Jules Verne, with this beautiful Gil Kane cover, and you would have possibly seen that on the thumbnail. There are a few classic Gil Kane covers within this series, so again, another reason to go out and grab them. But this one has Dino Castrillo on art, again, Doug Mensch on script. And as you can see here, great little splash page. But I want to draw your attention to this page here, which is what got me interested in Classics Illustrated in the first place, the Classic Comics in the first place. I managed to pick up this piece of original art a while back now at a UK auction, relatively cheaply. Like, I think it was about £10 or something. Didn't have no idea what it was. I just thought, I'll grab a piece of original art. You can't miss a piece of original art if it's available for that sort of price, especially from Marvel Comics. So picked this one up and did a bit of digging and found out it was from issue 21 of Marvel Classics. As you can see here, got the little stamps on the back with the detail of which issue it is. So volume 1, 21. But yeah, great to have this side by side. And that's the reason. This is the reason for why I started picking up the Classics Illustrated. And actually now don't have a single regret, because they're fantastic little snapshots. Only a 2-year run, but still some really good stuff, like Food of the Gods, adapted from the classic novel by H.G. Wells. Lovely, lovely stuff. Chilling classic of fantasy and fear, told in the mighty Marvel fashion. And again, look at this. Artist Sonny Trinidad, and just beautiful stuff. May have to go out and see if I can find myself some more original art, because these are quite astounding in terms of, the detail that they're involved. Like, you would think for a title like this, they wouldn't necessarily put as much effort in, but they clearly did, and clearly cared deeply about the material. So as you can see, got some really good artists, decent writers to be able to contribute. And there's a nice image of H.G. Wells there, portrait H.G. Wells. So that's your Food of the Gods, issue 22. We then got a copy of issue 23. This is Moonstone. And we're coming to an interesting one in a minute for you, folks, because there is a couple of bits of history that you probably don't know as well on this. Again, Dino Castrillo as the artist, but just beautifully framed, designed. I mean, look at that. Just the way that they've thought about how they present the story. Interesting use of the way that the panel structure works. Very reminiscent of DC horror in some regards, which doesn't surprise me given the subject matter. But again, you get panels like this, which really, really stand out. So fantastic stuff. I've been remiss, by the way. I should go back to the chat and say hi again. I've seen some of these in the wild, but never looked at the internals. So awesome looking art. Exactly. Well, this is the thing. They don't stand out. They don't grab a lot of attention of folk, which is why I wanted to highlight them today, because if it wasn't for me sort of opening up those books and sort of checking through, I wouldn't have understood or known half of the artists. And there is some history to this book as well. So, yeah, get out there and have a check out, particularly some of the key issues. The Count of Monte Cristo version got me an A on 8th grade book test that had 3 essay questions. Well, there you go. Gary, you've just proved your own point. That's amazing. Fantastic stuff there. Fantastic reason for kids to read more comics. There you go. And again, if they're bored with the classics, get them some classics comics and see how they go. And then good evening from Second Best Bob. Hello, Second Best Bob. It's great to see you. But yeah, I'm loving. Look, oh, there you go. There's another. But this is what I mean. Look at this. Like some of these panels, or just layouts that they've created, are pretty good. Like the stairwell one, for instance. Just nice stuff. Very underrated sort of artists involved in this series. And if you a child of the 70s or an early 80s like me, you will remember the movie She, but this is the comic version. I'm not sure if this came out before the movie version or just or after it. I think it probably did come after it. Classic novel by H. Rider Haggard. But again, you can see the art is bloody good in terms of, what you'd expect. And Dino is fast becoming a very underrated artist in my mind, given the work that he has here. It's not, given some of the books that Marvel were putting out at the time, seemed like a really premier artist, but just didn't get a lot of work in the main books from all accounts. So there you have it, and then another H. Rider Haggard cover there. Got the classic Iliad for you there, folks. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And again, this one has Young Montana as the artist. And again, just look at that. It's not, it's not a Dino elevated style, but they put a lot of effort in. So yeah, enjoyed that one. The Iliad, the classic tale. Nice pin up at the back there. Adapted from the literary epic by Homer. Got Kidnapped. And these are in pretty good shape, to be honest, from Dave. So whoever had them kept them well stored. This is a cover by John Romita Jr. and Pablo Marcos. So as you can see, you get some interesting artists doing the covers to this. Doesn't really look to John Romita. I'm assuming that that's mostly due to our friend Pablo Marcos on inks there. So this is Kidnapped by Robert Louis Stevenson, Doug Mensch on script, Pete Leoca and Sonny Trinidad as the artists. And again, look at that beautiful splash page there. And decent art throughout and inking. So again, great job. Wonderful book there. One full tale. There he is, Robert Louis Stevenson at the back. This one's an interesting one. This is issue 28, The Pit and the Pendulum by Edgar Allan Poe. So a chilling, scary tale. This one is, I've checked this one out earlier as well. So number of artists on this: Rudy Messina, Young Montana, Rod Santiago, and the very first published work for Marvel by Michael Golden. And I'll come to that in a minute. So Pit of the Pendulum first. We'll just go through that. As you can see here, pretty horrific stuff. It did have the comics code on it, so they couldn't go too nuts. But yeah, pretty spooky stuff, as you can see on these panels here. And quite interesting layout with a 4 by 3 grid, really telling that spooky tale before it reverts to its usual format. But yeah, fabulous, creepy, very well realized Pit and the Pendulum. Look at that for a double page splash. And again, crazy stuff. Very gruesome if you consider no blood, just eating the rats. Manages to free himself from the pendulum. But scary stuff. And then in this one, they cut this short. This is the first time, I think, where it wasn't the full story, which is why you've got multiple artists. So you've got the Telltale Heart, which is another story here. This is not the Michael Golden one, but pretty gruesome stuff. Very good horror tale. I think if this is probably the one out of all of them that I'm really impressed with. More like a House of Mystery or a House of Secrets, sort of very like horror tales all put into one. And then the last one is the Cask of Amontillado, which is your Michael Golden's first work, which I thought would be an interesting one to share. Not a lot of people would know Michael Golden's first published Marvel work would be in this issue here. This predates his Micronauts run, and you can really get a sense of his style here. Very reminiscent of his early work in particular. Sort of that, like very, you can really just tell a Michael Golden story, a very distinct art style, particularly in the early days, very detailed, and just very stylized with shading rather than line work in certain instances on people's faces, as you can see here. But yeah, it's a great little story to add to the mix. And I say, if you can, I'd probably be picking that one up because it's almost like a little horror book. But yeah, Pit of the Pendulum. This is Marvel Classics Comics issue 28. Go out and grab that one if you can. I think that one has a little bit of interest for me because of that first published work by our friend Michael Golden, or not friend, artist Michael Golden. Issue 29, The Prisoner of Zenda. Again, Doug Mensch, but Rico Rival on art. Just look at that. Beautiful stuff. And let's see what we've got on the back here. Lovely painted artwork. It almost looks Cockrum. I'd almost say that was Cockrum if I didn't know better. Probably is. And again, missing 30, which is Arabian Nights. And then we jump straight to 31, which is First Men on the Moon. Trying to remember who that one is from a artist Rudy Messina. And then you've got Don McGregor on script. But again, just fabulous stuff. Really nice way to read these classic novels. And just beautiful square-bound books. There is H.G. Wells again, reusing that old sketch that you would have seen in the previous issue. We got a copy of White Fang, issue 32. Philippine Tribe as the artist. Again, great stuff there. Let's see who we've got as our portrait on the back. Beautiful portrait there. And then issue 33, The Prince and the Pauper. Again, this one's an interesting layout. The New Tribe as the artists. So I think that's a cluster of artists, maybe. Very interesting, very stylized. Nice stuff there. Let's see if we've got a Mark Twain, classic by Mark Twain, The Prince and the Pauper. There they go. Nice painted piece there. And then to close this out, I'm missing 30. I'm missing 30, 35 and 36, the last two issues. But this is the nice one for me to end the review of these books today. This is Robin Hood. Doug Mensch on script, Rudy Messina and Alfred Alaka and Alcala on art duties. But again, can't go wrong. Beautiful retelling of Robin Hood there from one of the towns I used to live in the UK, Nottingham. So nice little piece of history there. And a nice little sketch to finish us off. So hopefully you enjoyed that and got a lot out of it. I just say, grab that Pit and Pendulum. I think that is a great issue, given the Michael Golden piece. And we're at half an hour, so we should say goodbye to everyone, and not without running, as I say, the giveaway that we talked about at the beginning of the show. So for those of you who don't know, we do a monthly sketch show, and very kindly, two of the winners from last month's show decided to give back their sketches in terms of prize winning, because they'd already had a couple of sketches done in the past, and so decided that we will rerun that on the show today. So I'll bring up the wheel of names for all of the members that are joined up. We'll give it a few shuffles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's give it a spin and see. We're going to give away 2 sketches, and I will be doing the sketch show probably next weekend. So I'll reach out to whoever wins, but let's give it a spin. Now, a couple of members are in the chat tonight, so we'll see if they're successful. Race Retro Comics wins, so that's good. Congratulations. And our second winner, let's shuffle it again, give it a bit of random, and spin that wheel. Let's see who else is going to get one. Fish. Oh, congratulations, Fish. There you go. So well done. Congratulations to both the winners. I will reach out, or if you can reach out to me via Instagram, and we'll get a detail of what sketch you'd like, and we'll get that done next weekend. So with that, thank you all for joining today. It's been an absolute pleasure seeing you all. Hope you got a kick out of those books. We'll be back next week with some more comics, some new books that have come into the collection. And also as well, we've got a couple of guest star shows coming in the next couple of weeks after that as well. I will let everybody know as soon as that happens. But for now, thank you very much for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure. Enjoy your Sunday wherever you are in the world. Take care of yourselves and have a great one.